This is Sai Ram. Om Shri Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Shri Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shri Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Apo Jyotiraso Amrita Brahma Bhuvassuva Om Sai Ishwar Pranamastu Sada Shiva Harihi Om. Sairam and good evening and welcome to all the devotees of Sai Sparshan for the 64th online session of Satsang. And today is 30th October 2021. And for the Panchangam, today is Sri Plavanama Samvatsaram, Dakshinayinam Sharadruto Ashvijamasa Krishna Paksha Naomi Shvatito Shanivasarayuktayam Sthirivasarayuktayam, dedicated to the worship of Sri Lord Sai, Tirumala Venkateshwara, Hanuman, Maruti, Anjaneya Swami, Shanishwara, and the Navagraha Devatas, and Sri Sakal Devata Swarupa Sri Bhagavan, Sri Shirdi Sai Sat Sai Baba. And invoking the blessings of Swami, we will start today's session. And just the incoming events for the next week, as we all know, it's the Deepavali festival week. And starting on 2nd November, that's what they call what is called Neeru Tumba Habba in Karnataka, where they store the water previous night and then they boil it next morning, and then third Chaturdashi they take the bath. And it's very prevalent in the lot of South Indian states. Of this second is Neeru Tumba Habba, followed by third Naraka Chaturdashi, where again the Narakasura was killed with the help of Satyabhama Devi by Sri Krishna, and in order to free 16,008 the people who were kept in captivity by Narkasura. And Narkasura was again the son of Bhudevi herself, and he had a boon that he should not be killed by any man and not Vishnu or Narayana, anybody. And therefore he has to be killed by the help of Satyabhama. And Naraka Chaturdashi is followed on the 4th as Amavasya. And the Amavasya day is celebrated by a lot of North Indian people and also by the Tamil Nadu and other states. And that also the evening, that Dhanalakshmi Puja is done to the worship of Sri Dhanalakshmi. And followed by 5th November, that is the Bali Padhyami or the Bali Chakravarti Puja and the Go Puja and the Goda and the Gokrida Puja and all that thing on the 5th. And next is on 6th, that is next Saturday, we will have our regular satsang session. And followed by that, next week is 13th and 14th of November, 2 weeks later, the Saturday and Sunday of the November 2nd, Saturday and Sunday. And as per our Satyasai organization's calendar, we have the Global Akhand Bhajans, for which the practice session has taken place today in Sai Sparshan, the first of the live sessions after a long time, and followed with various online sessions and bhajans. It must have been a very good kind of feeling for everyone who are present that day, present this day today. And similarly, we will expect that Swami will permit us to conduct the satsang also, the live in our Sai Sparshan premises sooner or later. And we expect that, and we hope Swami will bless us. And then with this, and also followed by, we know, 18th Rathotsava day, followed up to the 23rd November, and Swami's 96th birthday. Until then, this entire month of holy November will be carrying us further from tomorrow, from day after tomorrow. And then let us seek blessings of Swami and go towards today's topic. Shri Bhagavan Sat Sai Baba's Mahimas, the Leelas, and Satcharitra, Upanishads, and the second continuing part of last week, Satsang. And then we had covered last week up to 1940, Swami's Declaration Day. And we had studied up to that. And now, although we may not be able to follow fully chronologically all the events and all the functions and all the Upadeshas and Samari Mahimas, because it is apara. Because what is para, we can somehow try to reach it by study of some text and reading and by telling that. But Swami's everything is apara, infinite. And how can we really be able to cover many of the things? And only a few which we are able to somehow grasp and gather from various incidents with Satyam Shivam Sundaram. And from that, we'll be able to just highlight some of the issues. However, I don't really claim that we'll be covering quite a lot with the limited time that we have. And with another 5 sessions to go, we will try to cover as many important events as possible. And let us pray Swami to permit us to do so. And with his blessings, we'll start. And this is one transition from the Gurukunda episode of Swami's Declaration Day on the October 20th, 1940. From that time onwards, people were earlier calling him as Satyanarayana because of Satyanarayana Raju. Then he was called Satyanarayana. He then became Satya to many of his close friends and devotees. And from that, he was transformed, or people, or the devotees, started calling him as Balasai, or even Sai Baba and Satya Sai Baba. Satya was added to Sai Baba. Because Swami himself was calling himself Sai Baba. And until a few years, and until, because the local people of Uruvakonda, Kamalapura, and Puttaparthi used to call him as Sai Baba. And then even rubber stamps and other things was prepared, putting only as Sai Baba. And later on, when because of his Satyanarayana Raju name or Satyanarayana name, the Satya Sai Baba was started by various people and remained as Bhagavan Sat Sai Baba for all of us now. And Swami also, because most of us, although Sat Sai Baba is the name given, most of us we prefer to call Swami because calling him his full name. Like particularly elderly people themselves, we don't call them by name. We address them by a respectful name. And over here, Swami became the dearest kind of calling Swami and Sat Sai Baba. And we will, I think, keep calling whenever we get Sat Sai Baba, we'll say Swami. And the Swami is always going to bless us. And then Swami at that time decided, because until that day, only Thursdays they used to have bhajans and not other days. But later on, a lot of people started coming. And whenever people started coming, like the bhajan sessions, because bhajan sessions are the most endearing part of the entire Sai era. And there, people, whenever they used to come, even on daily, apart from Thursdays, they started singing bhajans, singing some songs. Baba also used to join them. And when Swami also used to sit with them and sing bhajans, it became a daily bhajan session. And earlier it used to be one time a day, now it became twice a day, morning and evening. Because people, nowadays, as we see in Prashant Nilayam, and the 2 times daily bhajans are there. Similarly, Swami started this in Puttaparthi. And bhajans on all the days and 2 times. And also there is no fixation of duration that it should be 45 minutes, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, like it couldn't go on. People as long as they felt tired singing, they could go on singing and to the heart content. And that was one beauty of the bhajan sessions. And a lot of people who thought they could not sing also started singing in presence of Swami. And Swami used to cover up everybody's mistakes if there are any. And he used to himself sing beautifully, lot of songs and lot of bhajans. And more people swelled up daily. And people came from all parts of the country, uninvited and uncalled. And they somehow searched Puttaparthi, Andhra Pradesh, a small place, and with all difficulties of transportation and communication and travel, they managed to reach to Prashanti Nilayam at the Puttaparthi at that time. And then, when this crowd swelled, and people actually, when they come, they won't be able to go back that early. They would have come from different places. They wanted to stay there, where they will stay. And for staying, some kind of arrangement has to be made. And there, like we last time noted, that the pious lady, Subhamma, Karanam Subhamma, provided the shelter, provided the food, for a number of people who used to come, give them the food, the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner, and also all other things. And Swami was blessing Subhama, giving this opportunity to her, and she became the Yashoda of the Bhagavata days, and feeding everyone who used to come to Puttaparthi to see Swami. And there was in this Subhama's house, they created a small bhajan mandir of 8 feet by 10 feet size, where 15, 20 people could hardly squeeze in. And that was not enough for even for a few days. But later on, people had to almost stand and sit in whatever available place outside the road of Swami's, that Subhama's house, and Vedavenkamaraju's house. And then later, it swelled so much that people had to put up pandals and people had to put up tents and all sorts of things that came into the being. And wherever people could be able to sit and stand, any kind of small stone, any kind of a shelter under a tree was the place that they could seek to have a darshan of Swami and listen to the bhajans and talk to Swami. And at that time, Swami was able to meet every one of the persons who used to come to Puttaparthi and spend some time with them, inquire about their welfare, and spend quite a lot of time with each one of them and inquire and solve many of their problems. And therefore, it becomes a kind of a very big crowd coming very daily, and the roads are all full, the pandals and Subhama's house, everything was fully through. And also sometimes Subhama could not know how much food to be prepared. And many times she used to come and tell Swami, Swami, I had prepared for 20, 30, 40, 50 people. Now there are 100 and then more than 100, 200 people. Swami just smiled and said, bring 2 coconuts. And he took 2 coconuts and just broke it and put that coconut under coconut water onto all the food and sprinkled it. And whatever food was prepared for whatever 40, 50, 60 people became enough and more, even when the people became 500, 600 persons. And this is the Sai Annapurna herself when she was there. Why cry for food? Why cry for shortage? There is no shortage, and Annapurneshwari herself is present in the form of Swami. And he told Subhaman, don't worry. See, you have got the good intention of feeding everyone, and whatever you prepare, with whatever items, it will all become several times more, and the quantity will be sufficient for whoever walks in. There are all lot of walk-in devotees. And he said, yes, let them all, they can't come otherwise. They have walked in because I have called them here. They're all my guests. Swami used to call them. All devotees are my guests. And Subhama was feeding all of them. And also, many times, lot of cattle carts driven by cattle used to come and bringing hundreds and hundreds of people, all of a sudden unannounced. And then Swami used to make some arrangement for the shelter and all this food. And it's also one of the recurrences that Swami, whenever we used to visit some devotee's house, and it happened in one of my uncle's Venkateshan's house in Karwar in 68, 69, when there were more than a few hundred, 2,000 of people, and the food what was prepared as prasadam was hardly sufficient for 100, 200 people. Then Swami just went into the kitchen, asked my aunt to open the lids of various vessels, and then just by opening, Swami saw and sprinkled vibhuti onto that, and then it was served for all the thousands of people who were there, and against it was some more was left. And this is Swami's Kripa. And this is one of the greatest leelas of Swami, that by uttering his name and taking his vibhuti, and then if you have got the good intention to feed more people, then Narayana Seva that being done now. I don't think any time in any Sai center, any other prasadam prepared any time, irrespective of the number of people coming, I think always it has served enough of that to everyone, and even sometimes more, second feed, third feed also. And that's the divinity blessings of Swami. And that whether it is a money, whether it is a quantity, whether it is a food, whatever it is the Akshaya Swarupa. That's why Swami is also called Akshaya. He was born in the Akshaya Samvatsara, and he is Akshaya. Shaya is something which diminishes. Akshaya, which always is pouring in, and it's always filling in. And it used to, Swami many a times used to every day take devotees who used to come to Puttaparthi in the evening to Chitravati river. And the Chitravati river today, which is really brim to the in the water level, and also it has got a lot of recreational and even this thing lighting and all that, with boating and all that. It used to be the most charming Chitravati river. Sometimes, although there was not enough water in that, and on the sands of Chitravati river, several of Swami's earlier Leelas, the miracles and the Upadeshas have taken place on the sands of the Chitravati river. And that became the kind of a holy place for many of the devotees, the earlier time devotees, who were very fortunate to flock around Swami and to sit and listen to whatever he says. Whatever Swami used to do was to be a kind of a sight which could never repeat in their lifetime or several lifetimes to come, either several births. It was a great opportunity and privilege. And Swami always used to say, Yoga Kshemam Mahamyam. That means everybody's welfare is my job. Why are you bothered? You come to me, I'll look after your welfare. I'll do your job. You do my job. And therefore, he was going on telling even from those days. And many a time the Chitravati river, the hillocks and around that, the various trees, and all that used to be surrounded with devotees. Swami used to run here, run there, be there, like what we see and listen in the Bhagavatam about Krishna in the Vrindavan, that he was present everywhere with everybody and he was seen with everyone. And everybody was saying, Swami was with me, Swami was with me, Krishna was with me. And therefore, this same Swami Krishna used to be present everywhere, on the hill, down the hill, on the hillock, on the tree, with the tree, near the tree. And then there used to be what is called a Kalparuksha tree, and the Kalparuksha and Vataruksha, they used to call. And then Swami sometimes used to take devotees and ask them, which fruit you want. Sometimes the devotees used to keep quiet, but he has to ask them again, which fruit you want. Suppose they say, I want some orange fruit or some other fruit, sometimes unseasonal. Swami never said no. He said, okay, you will get your fruit. And he used to pluck just by the presenting his hands and waving his hands. He could create or get whatever somebody wanted, orange and orange. From the same tree, if you want mango, mango, grapes, grapes, and whatever fruit that they wanted, he could have it got for them. Similarly, a lot of sweets and other things, hot sweets. Somebody said, I want Mysore pak. Swami even got the Mysore pak, done the hot, sweet, Mysore pak. Actually, in the hands, they could not even hold properly. They had to drop it and then hold it again. And therefore, it was the type of thing that Swami could prepare and create whatever the people wanted. For several other devotees, Swami could wave the hand into the sands of Chitravati river, take out whatever their Ishtadevata idols. Suppose they say Rama, Rama's idol would come. If they want Krishna, Krishna's, Shivalinga, and whatever it is, Lakshmi Narasimha Swami, and the Dattatreya, and whatever the Swarupas are, for some people, the Devis, and the Ashtamalakshmi or Mahalakshmi, and whatever deity, the Saraswati for some people, Durga for some people. And therefore, he became kind of a wish fulfilling, not only the wish fulfilling tree, what we call Kalparuksha. Swami himself was the Kalparuksha. He himself was the wish fulfilling tree for everyone's desires. But Swami used to say, don't desire too much. Desire, let it be under your commit and under your ceilings and under your limits. And therefore, once even based on this, a lot of people used to come and ask Swami a lot of things, and Swami never used to say no, and he used to provide that. But at the final, he used to say, all these things should take you further to the spiritual kind of relief and upliftment what I want to give you. I have come to give you those. Please ask for that and take it. Like in Sri Sai Baba's devotees also, one person came for saying Brahmagnana I want. And Swami was very happy then when they said Brahmagnana. Yes, instead of all other things you ask for Brahmagnana, I have come to give that. But in order to get that, you have to deserve it. Because Swami used to always say, deserve before you decide. And therefore, we should deserve. And all our preparation should be to deserve ourselves to be a holy instrument and a holy devotee with Swami and to ask him the spiritual upliftment. And many a times, Swami used to even test the devotees. And he used to, sometimes when people used to go in a cart or something like that in a cattle, this thing, he used to himself hide as one of the girls or women devotees And in one case, he became like a pregnant lady. And then he stopped one of the carts. And the cart people, although they're full, they stopped and they could accommodate. And later on, after some time, that lady who was pregnant, she got down and she was missing. And everybody started, oh, what happened to that lady? What happened? Whether she should, whether it could deliver or whether she was lost. And Swami all of a sudden said, no, I was that girl. I had come. And to find out whether you people who come and worship me as Baba, and whether you will have sympathy for some human beings when they come and ask for help. And Swami said that I had come to test you. And then similarly, Swami's sister, Venkama, one day requested Swami that she wanted a Shirdi Sai Baba photo. And Swami said, okay, I'll give it to you next Thursday during the bhajan. And then 1 week in the meantime, so many other development took place. Venkama, sister of Swami, forgot about it, did not ask again or remind Swami about it. However, next Thursday came, next Thursday there was a bhajan and went on up to night. And then also Venkama had forgotten, she didn't remind. But all of a sudden that day, night after the bhajans, then somebody came and knocked the door of Venkama's house. And then when she went and opened that, there was nobody there. And when she could see that some paper coil had been thrown inside by somebody and had left already. And when she went and took up that paper coil and uncurled it and opened, then that was the Shirdi Sai Baba photo. And she now remembered that I had asked Swami that I want a Shirdi Sai Baba photo. And same Thursday night. And therefore he had told next Thursday. And Swami had seen that it was sent to her house. And the Shirdi Sai Baba photo in all that kind of high glamour and high kind of visibility, it was there, and she was very happy. She started worshipping it, that keeping that puja room from that day. And about Swami used to visit Chitravati daily in the evening, bhajan songs declared, and many a times Swami used to even say that nowadays you are all privileged, you are able to sit near me, touch me, talk to me, all your sparshan, sambhashan, and that's everything is so easy and instantaneous for you. But what happens after some years? And Swami had said this in 1940s. And similarly, he had said the first 16 years of my life, that would be in the Leelas. And next 16 years, that is Mahimas. Leelas are different, Mahimas are different, miracles are different. And the remaining years, Swami has said, remaining my years, I will spend it in Upadeshas, visits to the devotees places, visits to the pilgrimage places, and visits to various places, and Dharma Samrakshana, and Dharma Uddipana. And that used to be the Vedodharana. And he wanted to say that I will uplift the Veda and Upanishad, and I will travel and give a lot of discourses all through that. And therefore, that's what happened for all of us, we know. And now, when we look back to Swami's, the previous years of whatever the sadhanas and the various kind of the miracles and other things done, all that he had prophesied somewhere in the early 40s itself, and he kept up. And not only he kept up, he broke, in fact, the pace of that and did much more than what he had announced and what he had sought. And that is what the value of the God's avatars. And therefore, Swami said that about his 16 years every phase. And now we are almost coming to the second phase of Swami's avatars. And Swami was able to create, and somebody even asked, what are you doing? How are you doing all this creating? Swami used to joke, saying, I got some Siddhi. And because of Siddhi, because he is himself the Siddhi Purusha, and the person who creates the Siddhi Purushas are all Siddhis. For him, nothing else is required. It's a Sankalpa. The Sankalpa Siddhi does not require any other things. And Swami Sankalpa itself could create anything. And many times, lot of people who had their experiences, they claim that they could eat various sweets and very hot as if prepared immediately from the kitchen and brought there and served to them anything. And then it was so sweet and delicious, and any item that they wanted, Swami could have it created and brought it. And for some people, he even got them poison, and then he created rings for various people, the chains and the lockets and the pendants and the watches and various things as per sometimes the wishes of the devotees or what Swami thought that they deserve. He could create almost any item, anytime, anywhere. He did not require a particular specified place where, because if suppose a mantrika somebody is there, then they require a particular place where they possibly would have hidden something and take it out. Here he could produce anything, anytime, anywhere, and as per his just will, divine sankalpa. And he could also appear to people in this place and appear to somebody else little far away in some other village, some other place, some other city, some other state, some other country. He could be present in the same form in several places, being omnipresent and omnipotent. And that was his a high level of miracles and mahimas. And many times he used to run up to the hills and appear on the hill. And, and also sometimes he used to come down. And many a times when devotees used to ask to praise him and ask him, Swami, we want to see you in this particular forum and different forums. They said, just tell me which forum you want to see me. And because Swami is all, that's why when you say Sakal Devata Swarupa Swami, what does the Sakal Devata Swarupa means? He is the Ishta Devata, he is the Putra Devata. He could appear in any form of whatever the deity that you can think of and give them darshan and blessings in that way. And he is to appear as Lord Shiva on the hilltop and Jyoti Swarupa. And the Jyoti, that means the powerful light, used to emerge from his forehead. And sometimes some people used to appear as Shri Sai Baba. They used to appear like same Shri Sai Baba of Shri. And for some people used to appear Dattatreya, Dattatreya of Ganagapura and Audumbara Kshetra. And for some people he appeared as the Panduranga of Pandarapura. And he appeared as Krishna to various people, Radha Krishna, Krishna, and Venugopala Krishna Swami. And he appeared as Sri Ramachandra, Sri Dharmaswarupa Sri Ramachandra also. And you could appear in the various Vishwarupa darshans to various people. And like to Yashoda Devi, in his Bhagavatam days, Krishna showed the entire Virata Swarupa or Vishwarupa to Mother Yashoda Devi in his mouth. Similarly, the Vishwarupa and the Virata Swarupa to Arjuna during the Bhagavad Gita discourse. Same thing, that whenever a proper devotee asks for that, Swami used to always appear as even Gopala Krishna, Venugopala Swami, and sitting on a jula. Many times he used to convert that place in Chitravati river on the sandbed to a Vrindavanam. And you used to have the environment of the Vrindavanam and all the same trees and the gardens and the bushes and the beautiful Yamuna river swaying, flowing with kind of plentiful, kind of the splashing noise of whatever a river front would be, and he would be sitting on the jula with his Radha, and then he would give darshan as Gopala Krishna Swami or Venugopala Swami, and also many times playing the flute. And in the Vrindavanam means immediately the remembrance of the flute, because Madhura, Madhura, Gopala, that is his Madhuradipate, Akilam Madhuram. And whatever his name is Madhuram, 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 that is sweet. And also Matharadipate, he is also the Lord of the Mathura. And therefore everything about him is sweet and everything about him is nectarine. And whatever we think of Swami, he is that nectarine. And therefore Matharadipate and Madhuradipate, both are, he is the Madhura and he is the Mathuradipate. And everything is he. And also the flute, the Divya Murali. And therefore, we have got a lot of bhajans as we know that Murali, Murali, Divya Murali, whatever Murali, that pleasant Murali, that Swami many attempts used to say that Murali or the flute that which is in my hands and which I played was one of the most worthiest devotees, because it could be in his hand and he could play and take it to his lips and play with it. Therefore, if all of us can devotees become as hollow and as less arrogant and less of all the bad vices, then if we also become as hollow as the Murali, then Swami used to say, I will play with you. Then you will become my Murali. Then he become Muralidhara. And therefore, Swami used to appear as Muralidhara, Gopala Krishna Swami. And then one Mysore family, from one Arsu family of the palace, the Vadiyar's family, Arsu family came once to meet Swami, and they invited Swami to go to Mysore. That's how Swami made one of his earlier visits to Mysore. And then once Swami, when they went to Mysore, there was a Purohit, local or a Kula Purohit for the Raja's family. And then he was a kind of a Shastri. And then when Swami visited his house also, at his request, Swami, when he appeared his house almost unannounced, and for him, from a distance, he could see Lakshmi Narasimha because he was the devotee of Lakshmi Narasimha Ahobala. The Ahobala, the Nava Narasimha Rupa Swarupa, he became the Lakshmi Narasimha Swarupa for that Shastri. And he just said, Lakshmi Narasimha Swami, come, come, welcome. And then he just fell at the Swami's feet and swooned. He fainted. For hours he could not get up. He was in the Divya Swarupa, seeing the Lakshmi Narasimha Swami and in Swami. Because Swami could acquire and attributes of everything and he could become anything, anytime. And therefore, a Purohit had to be later treated to come back to his normal kind of Samadhi state. And then Swami appeared as Lakshmi Narasimha to him and of the Swarupa of Ahobilam of the Nava Narasimha Swami. And then this person fainted for several hours. He had to be treated and brought back. And Swami used to say, Ahetuka Daya Sindho. He was a person who had a lot of sympathy on everyone. And that's why we call Dina Dayala Baba, Dina Dayalu, Dayakaro, Dayakaro, because he is an embodiment of mercy, embodiment of sympathy, and embodiment of benefaction. And therefore, to one retired health officer or inspector called Mr. Sheshkir Rao, Swami even showed him what they call Mahashakti and the Maya Shakti Swarupa, and also the Mahajyoti. In between the Swami's eyebrows, he said, look at my eyebrows. And then when he was looking at that Shashir Rao, he could see the Mahashakti, Maya Shakti Swarupa of Devi. And this Shashir Rao became a big devotee of Swami. And even for him, he appeared as a Trinetra Swarupa. And with the trident and with the Trinetra and the third eye, the Gnana eye, in his in between the brows, Swami gave this Trinetra Swarupa darshan also. And after seeing this, that devotee became, he fainted and became in that same, continued in the same state of Samadhi for 60 hours. That means he has to be later brought back with lot of treatment to bring to his normal state. And another Karmala devotee, Swami showed Dashavatara. And he said, yes, now come, I'll show you Dashavatara Rupa. And these are the fortunate people. Swami used to call them and say, I'll show you this, I'll show you that, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. That deserve that. And that all come from the heavens to serve Swami and be with him. And that's why they could get that privilege. And even when he said that for a Kamalapura devotee, that I will show you Dashavatara, he immediately called for Ishwaramba also. He said, call her also. Let her also have the punya of seeing the Dashavatara. And then Ishwaramba also came. And all of them, when they were there, they could see all the Dashavataras one by one. The Matsya to Kurma to Varaka to Narasimha to Parshurama, the Rama, Krishna, the Kalki, the Buddha, and the Mahavira. And all these forms coming alive. Like we say, live telecast, a live broadcast. Swami could become anything live, anything could make him make it live. And for these people, they filled the Matsya Avatara, they filled all the Avataras, and coming and being in their presence. And they could almost touch and they could see and they could inspire by that and sing bhajans and songs on them. All the avatars were live in their presence. And people who had this privilege were exhilarated and they were even sometimes panic stricken when Narasimha Rupa came, including Ishwaramba. They started little panic stricken and even cried, they shouted, they screamed. Oh, Swami, Swami, this particularly the Krura Swarupa or the Krura Rupa or the Bhayankara Rupa of Narasimha, she could not even withstand it for some time. And she had to ask, like Arjuna also had to ask Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita discourse that please Swami come back to your normal state. Because the Raudra Swarupa, yes, of Swami, many a time, even our Swami was never having that Raudra Swarupa. Only a few times. But Shri Sai Baba could many times get into that in order to transform people, not because he wanted for that exhibition or something. In order to transform some people, particularly some bad people, sometimes to mold some people. He said, my Raudra Rupa had to show. And therefore, they could see the Virata Swarupa and the Vishwa Swarupa and the Vishwarupa Swarupa of Swami in the big mouth. And Swami had opened it so big, and particularly Parvatama, when she was seeing this, like Yashoda in the Bhagavata, when she was able to see Krishna, when Krishna opened his mouth, and when she thought that he would have eaten some mud or something, and saying that when you have got so much of butter in the house, why do you eat the mud? She asked as if to punish him. And when he opened his eyes, opened his mouth, and Yashoda could see the entire Vishwarupa in that. And similarly here for Ishwaramba, also Swami showed all this, whatever he had shown in the Bhagavatam period to Yashoda as Krishna. And one the devotee called Krishnamurti, he was a government employee in Bangalore. And he was working in Bangalore, and at that time Swami visited Bangalore because Swami used to visit Mysore, Bangalore quite a number of times. And Swami visited, he used to stay in one devotee. She was a coffee planter called Sakama. Swami used to stay in the house of Sakama, a devotee, long-term devotee of Swami and a planter, coffee planter. And this Krishnamurti, he was a government employee. He also came and had Swami's darshan at that time. And when he went there, and then during a visit to Srimati Sakama's house, a coffee planter who was a great devotee, and during the bhajans in their house, this Krishnamurti asked Swami to show him his real form. Because he says, I have understood or read from or know from various people that you are so, you are this, you are that, you are this. Really tell me or show me the real form. What is the real form? And that is something like many times the conjecture of a devotee. And then Swami just did not say anything more. He just gave him a photo and asked him to wait for some time. And then Swami went out. Swami returned after 4 hours. And Swami, after returning, he asked this Krishnamurti. And when he saw, while entering itself, after 4 hours, Krishnamurti had asked for the real form of Swami. He, from a distance itself, when Swami entered the house of Sakama, he shouted Parameshwara. And then saying Parameshwara, he fell down and wanted to merge in Swami, the lotus feet. He went and had the Shiras Astanga Namaskara and said, Swami, let me not wake up. Let me not wake up. Let me merge in your lotus feet. And he went on fervently praying and begging for that. Krishnamurti went on persuading Swami. Swami said, not now, not now. Later on, later on. But he did not agree. Krishnamurti went on persuading Swami. Swami avoided him for some time and even some days. But this person, Krishnamurti, was so, and was much in that kind of high state of samadhi. He was going on behind Swami wherever Swami went. And he was in high samadhi stage. But Swami promised to visit his house and asked him to go to his house presently and said, I will come and visit your house, and sent him back to his house. But again, he went to that house. The people in the house, in their family, they thought he had even become mad. Because many a time devotees, when they are in the high state, that between madness and madness, people cannot understand the difference. They have become God mad. Yes, God madness is something which only few could have the privilege. And they even thought that he will shift the house. They changed the house, thinking that something wrong in the present house, and they went to other house. And again, he did not stop asking Swami and going behind Swami. He again came back to Swami. Again soon, not much this thing. Swami was still in Bangalore and Basanagudi. And at that time of visiting the Dr. Padmanabhan's house and other houses of devotees in Basanagudi and other places. And many times Swami used to stay there. Even the Global Akhand Bhajan was started when Swami's one of his sits in Bangalore. And about Swami came back, and then this person, Krishnamurti, came back and asked Swami, please take me to your lotus feet. Again and again he went on crying. And he wanted to merge in Swami. He did not. He says, the eyes of mine which have seen you in Parameshwara Rupa, it doesn't want to see anything else in its objective form. And Swami again sent him. And then at that time, people even felt he had become more mad and even was admitted to hospital. And Swami sent him some medicines at the hospital and also sent some Padatirtha. Swami himself that collected the Padatirtha of the Pada Puja done by somebody and sent that Padatirtha of his lotus feet to this devotee Krishnamurti, and so that he could get better. And he was little better recovered and went home. And again, That day when he went home after this, and they were conducting bhajans in the house, he asked all other people to conduct bhajan for about half an hour. And then they were doing the bhajans. And after the bhajan, the arti was being sung or the song. And arti was being offered with the camphor. And before the arti was being done or completed, and then afterwards they took the arti for Krishnamurti to take the arti. But Krishnamurti had fallen down and met with Swami, saying, Swami, Swami, Swami. And even he could not just take the arati. Just at the arati time, before he could even touch the arati fire, he had merged in Swami. And that's such a great devotee. And Mr. Kasturi, who says this in Satyam Shivam Sundaram, says, what better death can be there for anybody who is born as a human being during arati? Like the camphor itself sublimates and merges and becomes empty. And a man, if he can become empty of all his hollowness, then only he can merge with Swami. Otherwise, asking Swami to give mukti or moksha, no, it's not that easy. But to get out of all attachments and become detached. And Swami asked whether they went to hear the divine flute of Vrindavan once was some devotees. Swami asked, have you heard the divine flute of Vrindavan Krishna? Some people said, no, we are not. Do you want to hear? Swami used to ask like that. And Swami, then who says no when Swami himself offers that? They said yes. And the Swami called them to his nearby and asked them to come near to him. And then he said, just come and put your ears on my chest and hear what the sounds are. And when they just went near his chest and with their ears, they could hear the entire the vibrations of the Yamuna river flowing and the beautiful divine music and the flute rung by Krishna himself. And same thing of what is described in the Bhagavata by the Vedavyasa. Same thing they could come back and the environment was fresh. And the one person devotee, Kamalapura Ramaraju, he is the person who was one of those persons to feel this and have that kind of effect. And then he said the divine flute music was a kind of a messiah. And then that was a kind of a divine thing that from which he could not come back to his real senses for many, many hours. And the Yamuna river and the flow and the breeze and the lilting music and the divine voice and the darshan of Sai Krishna was everything going on in that when they could hear. And when they were able to, or permitted by Swami, to take their ears near the chest of Swami. Then again Swami said, see, now Sridhar Sai Baba is coming. He immediately announced to somebody. And then when he said Sridhar Sai Baba is coming to home, in their house when they were staying in Venkamaraja's house, then mother immediately rushed off to Ishwaramba. And then they were able to hear or see Sai Baba, Sridhar Sai Baba coming, and also with the sound of the wooden padukas or the wooden sandals of Sridhar Sai Baba. And then Mother Ishwaramba first of all could not see properly. And she thought, who is this one? And also she heard this sound coming into the house. And she was a little annoyed as to who is this person who is entering into the house with the sandals. And then she objected to him, saying, who is this entering inside the house with wooden sandals? Then when she saw it was Sridhar Sai Baba, and then Swami was laughing at whatever the so-called little ignorance or whatever the kind of surprise that Ishwaramba had. Therefore, Swami could convert to any form, any time, and lots of devotees who came from Penikonda. One evening, one lawyer, Krishnamachari, was also one of them. Another 3-4 minutes, we'll be able to close it. And a particular one stay will come. And lawyer Krishnamachari was also one of them. And this lawyer Krishnamachari, because many a time people who think they are intelligent, they always suspect or do not agree or do not believe in God immediately. And similarly, he had not believed in whatever so-called miracles of Swami. And they had stayed in Karnam Subhama's house. And then many a times had food in her house also. And there, Venkamaraju, father of Swami, was there. And then this person who had come, this Krishnamachari, asked his father, why are all these things being done by his son, that is Swami? And he calls the leelas, the dramas, and so many things. And maybe not, is he not deceiving? Because he's being a lawyer by profession. He thought everyone is some kind of a person who will deceive. And he even said, why are you deceiving the people here in the village? And then he asked if in a liar kind of way and tell what it is. And then when it was heard, really Father Pedavenkamaraju became little angry on Swami because he don't know. Because I said, I do not know anything. He is doing it. A lot of people are coming, liking it. They are coming on their own. We are not doing anything wrong. But again, he said, stop this entire thing and do not go on continuing it. Tell your or advise your son. But then Swami, I mean, immediately Pedavenkamaraju came to Swami's place room and said that this person has come and is accusing me. And then Swami just smiled. He did not become angry. He just smiled and said, okay, who are all these people are objecting and asking for proof or something? Let them all come. And then they all wanted Swami to prove that he is not deceiving anybody and whatever he is doing is all real. Then Swami asked Father to not to bother about this, to ask all of them to assemble. And Swami told Subhama also, I will show you the Shirdi Sai Baba Samadhi Darshan. And then immediately Subhama was overjoyed. And then she said, Swami, when? He said, right now. And Swami said that Subhama, close your eyes. And wanted her to close her eyes and come to the old house along with Swami. Swami took her inside. After entering inside, asked her to open the eyes. And she could see the Divya Darshan of Shirdi Sai Baba, as we see in the Shirdi Sai Baba Mandir at Shirdi, with lot of garland, the agarbatti, the fragrant smell of the dupa, because the dupa arati and all that. And one devotee meditating there and sabhajan going on in Shirdi. And same thing, whatever is happening in Shirdi was there, as if we are seeing the online broadcast. And for Subhama, when she saw that for several minutes, then also Swami said, not only the Shirdi Sai Samadhi you are seeing, come here, see the Dwarkamai, see this Gurusthala, see this Duni, and see also this Hanuman Mandir opposite Dwarkamai. Everything like that went on saying, Dattatreya Mandir, Datta Mandir, and Panduranga Mandir, everything, whatever is in Shirdi. And it was like a Shirdi visit to Subhama. And then when she was closing, when she opened her eyes. And then after this, she came back. And then he called this lawyer Krishnamachari, who was a critic of Swami, and asked him to come inside. And when he also could come and have the divine darshan of Shri Sai Baba in that old house, with all the things, whatever was being in Shirdi going on, being enacted there, live presence, Krishnamachari also became satisfied, happy, and apologized for his folly, which he had told earlier, and also apologized to his father, and also said, Swami, and he declared that to his father also, no, I thought you were deceiving, but no, we are deceived. Until we can know he is the Bhagavanta, and who is the God incarnate, he has taken the avatar to be among us, and he is not, he is deceiving us. We are deceived that to go unto him, and until that we may not go. Therefore, we have to go out of this deceit to come near to him. And then Swami also never scolded, became angry on anyone. And he could transform all, lots of people like this fell, and all sorts of this kind of their problems and worries and diseases and wants and wishes. A lot of politicians, the kings, the queens, the royal families, industrialists, educationalists, scientists, and the IAS people, the autocrats, and the historians, whoever you name, everybody and all celebrities from all over the country came to Puttaparthi to see Swami and to see and enjoy the Leelas and the Mahimas of Puttaparthi and the Swami there, and they all deserved. Then Swami said, since so many people are coming now, Puttaparthi deserved a big hall, and that's how the Prashanti Mandir construction was taken up in the 1950s, and it completed in 1950. And then after this Prashanti Nilayam, a lot of other new changes and modifications have taken place. Today, the glorious Prashanti Nilayam that we are seeing is the result of Swami's kind of accommodating all the thousands and thousands of devotees to come here. And by just operating by your hand, he could get the surgical instruments to even make operations or surgical operations on some people. But if some devotees create vibhutis and send to the various people ailing in the hospital, and create tonics and send them medicines, herbal medicines of different type of necessities for different devotees. Like this Satyasai Mandiram, which was built under Subhama's house, later became a big kind of Prashanti Nilayam. And then the one Mr. Trimal Rao, a devotee from Bangalore, he was one of the persons who arranged for the Satyasai Mandiram to be built, and then the Shivlinga and the Panipatram materialization started by Swami, and Shivratri was started between 1940 to 1950, and the Lingodbhavam Manimas, which we know, was also started in the Shivratri night. All these things and the glorious saga of all these things in the next satsang session, we will take it for another 4 or 5 sessions, and until after Swami's birthday this year, we will be going on listening to this in the coming sessions. And Sairam to all of you, one bhajan, and we are closing this session.
Sairam to all. Ishwari Nandana Sai Gopala He Madhusudana Krishna Krishna Sai Madhusudana Krishna Krishna Jagadodhara Pati Vihara Prema Swarupa Premavatara Dwarkamai Shri Satya Sai He Madhusudana Krishna Krishna Sai Madhusudana Krishna Krishna Ishwari Nandana Sai Gopala He Madhusudana Krishna Krishna Jagadodhara Pati Vihara Prema Swarupa Premavatara Dwarkamai Shri Satya Sai He Madhusudana Krishna Krishna Sai Madhusudana Krishna Krishna Ishwari Nandana Sai Gopala. Sairam to all.
Sairam, best wishes, and happy Deepavali greetings next week to all the devotees of Swami. And then let Swami bless all of us all through. Sairam. Thank you.
Sairam. Happy
Sairam.
Diwali. Happy Diwali.
Sairam.
Sairam to happy